I went through that fucking window. I went smooth through that window, and I didn't even care because I thought that my life nobody cared about. I didn't have that, and I didn't think it was possible
What
to
you
render.
recover from? What drugs you on? Meth or something?
No, it was coke at the time, powder coke.
Oh, oh
I
no
grew
shit.
up when I started. I thought I was about 21,
Mm-hmm.
and that is up like the party, and I could stay out all night. But I think it was in 2014, I was lonely again, and my parents was my father was walking well then, man. I think he was walking well better than my mother, and they would go see my aunt and she lived in Southwest. Actually, a couple blocks from where we live now. I mean, where I work now. And it's so ironic because they would ask me to go with them. They didn't want to be. They said I looked miserable by myself, so I would go with them. Come back one night, and it was hot as shit in there. I was in the room. I said, I'm gonna go to sleep. Hopefully, I get to tomorrow and wake up. That's exactly what I said. And they was in the room. They jump off the bed. It was like quick starters. They was in I thought it was in decent shape. And cause he would go out in the front and he would walk a little bit. He was stressed. The fella I come out there and be like, oh look at you. He'd be like, yeah man, I just my exercise, Joe. I said, yeah right. And then that day, it was something about that. It was just real depressing, man. I couldn't stop crying. I was silly. It was really silly how I was acting. And I said, I got to do something. And I walked in there. I said, man, drop me off at the spot, man. They said, what? And they dropped me off, man. And I went on the road. That's why I didn't want to. I didn't want to jump back in there. But my brother kept saying, well, that might be the best thing for you because how you just gonna not be with nobody? I was like, man, see, one thing I don't like a person to kind of dictate or try to spin on things and try to maneuver my life, man. If I tell you let it go, let it go. And he kept on doing it. He kept on doing it. I said, well, okay. I've always been a people pleaser. They try to say I'm not. Now, I would try to please everybody and at the cost of hurting me, right? And so I was doing that, and I still do it. That's probably my biggest mistake to myself. That I go out the way, and then what it does is when I don't get the expectations from you, what I do is I say, okay, I wind up hurting myself, and I do it in a way not necessarily, um, not necessarily taking a gun trying to blow your head off, but it might be more or less continual self harm, and that's
Yeah,
bad.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
bad. So throughout the years, instead of being able to say, I got this person I can talk to, I got a bunch of people say they're Christians and they say that they love Jesus and Jesus is their answer in a way, but a lot of them don't actually just show it. They talk down upon you and they condemn you, but I know a lot of their laundry list, right? And I know I know it ain't always been that way, buddy. No, so talk to me from a point of humbleness, right, and meekness. That's Jesus did. Because guess what? There were prostitutes on that road. There were murderers on that road. Paul and Mary and all them. They wasn't right, man. But he said, man, I'm coming for all them too. Them are really the ones because they can accept what I got, the teaching that I've written in this back in the Old Testament. That's for them too. So I can't leave them because you look pretty. That's what he told her. He had to tell the Pharisees because they were stuck in like this mind frame that they were better because they could say it a little bit better. But he reminded them the way I told you got to say it like that. You didn't learn it that way. And so their confusion was the fact, who are you to come here and tell me? He said, I am who I am. Those are the scriptures, y'all. I never seen the scriptures that you just bash people because they are problems and you use them against them because as a weapon. I've never heard Jesus say that. I've always heard, listen, Judas was talking to Jesus underneath the tree in the Garden of Gethsemane, and he got mad. He told Jesus, he said, look, man, if he was a nigga, this is how he would have said, Slim, give him money for what? Jesus was like, why you worried for it? For I control the money and stepped off. Why are you worried about it? I control it. And so when the master tells you, and you still getting jealous, you think you bigger than the master. And that's how a lot of people is in church. They use church as their own bully pulpit, so
Yeah.
they think that that can control and that it can better help them. That's not gonna get you.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Hey, my man,
Corinthians 13:1.
when you wanna come by and see these rooms? Or did you want a room? You say you want something big in the
I'll come
room.
by tomorrow. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Okay, give me a call first thing in the morning and let me know what time you wanna come by, all right?
I gotta go meet a guy in the morning. Let's talk. I get off at 4:45. I gotta try to get to work. Let's meet after 4:45. I'll call you. Get off. I'll meet you somewhere.
Sounds good, my man.
All right.
Hey, nice talking to you. Yeah.
I went through that fucking window. I went smooth through that window, and I didn't even care because I thought that my life nobody cared about. I didn't have that, and I had to run. No, it was cold at the time, powder coat. When I started, I thought I was about 21, and that is upward, like the party, and I could stay out all night. But I think it was in 2014, I was lonely again, and my parents were my father was walking way over there, man. I think he was better than my mother. And I was able to go see my aunt, and she lived in Southwest. Actually, a couple blocks from where we live now. I mean, where I work now. And it's so ironic because they would ask me to go with them. They didn't want to be. They said I looked miserable by myself, so I would go with them. Come back one night, and it was hard to go to sleep. Hopefully, I get the mom and wake up. That's exactly what I said. And they was in the room. They jump off the bed. It was like quick stars. They was I thought it was in decent shape. And because he would go out in the front and he would walk a little bit, he was stressed. Just felt I come out there and be like, "Oh, look at you." He'd be like, "Yeah, this my exercise, Joe." I said, "Right." And then it was something about that. It was just real depressing, man. I couldn't stop crying. I was silly. It was really silly how I was acting. And I said, I got to do something. And I walked in there. I said, "Man, drop me off at the spot, man." They said, "What?" And they dropped me off, man. And I went on the road. That's why I didn't want to jump back in there, but my brother kept saying, "Well, that might be the best thing for you because how you just gonna not be with nobody?" I was like, I don't like a person to dictate or try to spin on things and try to maneuver my life, man. If I tell you, let's go. And he kept on doing it. I've always been a people pleaser. They try to say I'm not. So I would try to please everybody and at the cost of hurting me, right? And so I was doing that, and I still do it. That's probably my biggest mistake to myself. That I go out the way, and then what it does is, when I don't get the expectations from you, what I do is, I say, okay, I wind up hurting myself. And I do it in a way, not necessarily taking a gun and trying to blow your head off, but it might be more or less continual self-harm.
Yeah.
It's bad. So throughout the years, instead of being able to say, I got this person I can talk to, I got a bunch of people say that they're Christians, and they say that they love Jesus, and Jesus is their answer in a way, but a lot of them don't actually just show it. They talk down upon you, and they condemn you, but I know a lot of their laundry list. I know it ain't always been that way, buddy. So talk to me from a point of humbleness, right, and meekness. That's what Jesus did, because guess what? There were prostitutes on that road. There were murderers on that road, Paul and Mary and all them. They wasn't right, man. But he said, man, I'm coming for all them too. They were really the ones because they can accept what I got, the teaching that I've written in this back in the Old Testament. That's for them too. So I can't leave them because you look pretty. That's what he told her. He had to tell the Pharisees because they were stuck in a mind frame that they were better because they could say it a little bit better. But he reminded them, the way I told you to say it like that. You didn't learn it that way. And so their confusion was hey, who are you to come here and tell me? He said, I am who I am. Those are the scriptures. I never seen the scriptures that you just bash people because they got problems and you use them against them as a weapon. I've never heard Jesus say that. I've always heard, listen, Judas was talking to Jesus underneath the tree in the Garden of Gethsemane, and he got mad. He told Jesus, he said, look, man, if he was a nigga, this is how he would have said, Slim, give him money. Why you worried for it? I control the money and stepped off. Why are you worried about it? I control it. And so when the master tells you, and you still getting jealous, you think you're bigger than the master. And that's how a lot of people is in church. They use church as their own bully pulpit, so
Yeah.
they think that that can control and that it can better help them. That's not gonna get you.
When you want to come by to see these rooms, or did you want a room? You say you want something bigger than a
I'll come
room.
by tomorrow. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Give me a call first thing in the
Tomorrow.
morning. Let me know what time you want to come by. All right?
I gotta go meet a guy in the morning. Let's talk. I get off at 4:45. I gotta try to get to work. Let's meet after 4:45. I'll call you. Get off. I'll meet you somewhere.
Sounds good, my man. We got a guy right here, very desperate for a room. Let's call him and see what he says. Hello? What's up, man? Yeah, so
One of the Doobie Brothers.
that's what I told you I was gonna call you right back.
You keep saying you're gonna call me back every 2 seconds, son. What are we gonna do, man?
Man, you gotta take a lot of calls, man. I had to apologize, man. You be calling every day, you know what I mean?
But you sound like a radio announcer. Right now, I need you to talk about the home.
That's what I'm saying. So we got rooms available. We got right now.
What part of Southeast is it, the room? I told you I'm gonna need a bigger room.
Yeah, it's in Congress Heights. We got a bigger room coming available. I don't know how. When you say big room, how big is big? You know what I mean? What's big? I'm sorry. Say that one more time. We got places at Martin Luther King, right behind Baloo.
Those are the joints on your advertisement.
Nah,
I see the tower, and I see there's a room area, but I thought it was made like an apartment.
nah.
So it's an efficiency.
Like rooms in a house right now. We have some basement apartments, but they're rented right now. So all we have right now is all we have right now is private bedrooms, just as a private room.
How much? I got, you said 1,000?
Yeah, it's furnished and all utilities included. Bed, sofa, air conditioner, TV, stuff like that.
Send me a picture.
Yeah, that's the one by Baloo.
Send me the pictures of the bed early.
Yeah, it's a full size. It's a full front door. What do you mean?
I might want.
What you trying? What you trying to creep with a little female? Or what you talking about?
I'm trying to creep and not get shot by one of these or shot to shoot one of them.
No, it ain't that kind of neighborhood. What you talking about?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
You think so? Where you live right now?
Close to the Pennsylvania.
Why you looking to move back out this way?
I work by the Navy Yard.
Yeah, so this good for you. What you doing? What kind of work you doing?
I was in research. Somehow I got swindled and placed over in customer service for whatever reason. That's what they did, but hey, that's our job.
What kind of science research some shit?
So my job has a drone program. We also now are working with we have an autonomous vehicle program. Right? We got EVs.
Oh.
And we got satellite robots, right? When I got there, I was working with Stephanie Dodds, great mind, thanks to this new emerging technology. And she really afforded me the opportunity for a couple of trips, man. And I actually had the opportunity to learn outside of the education I already had as far as and the nuances of technologies, from how they run their operating systems, how they would stop signs, how they would recognize emergency vehicles. And so
what you talking about? Like them Waymo cars and shit?
So I went to San Francisco, and to see them at that time by myself, I was kind of amazed, man. Because these things were jetting down the street in San Francisco and Chinatown. And them joints was balling. It was going fast, right? So I took a couple videos. I couldn't believe it. And then I was like, San Francisco was cold. And after it was kind of cold, it was kind of creepy cold, too, right? I got an opportunity to meet some heavyweights. Well, I didn't really. I've seen them in different newsletters and stuff like that. But when I read their bios and stuff, these were some of the elite transportation people throughout the United States. There's so many, I can't just name them all.
Yeah.
But a lot of them are responsible for the early legislation that was written for the initial autonomous vehicles, man.
Yeah, you believe it.
So what Stephanie was doing was she was taking information from all of those different things, and we were able to start puzzling them and put together the legislative branch. Not the branch, but the legislative pieces to put the rules together. Because the rulemaking needs to be in place for you to just run these autonomous vehicles. Because they look at here you got emergency vehicles. There's so many nuances. DC is a place where there's a lot going on here. Because it's a federal city, right?
Yeah.
You have the federal part and then you have the city part. And so these things have to fit in nicely. And she knows how to tell these things it operates in a way that is formative for everyone.
Right.
And so I was loving that. I was really loving that. And then got a chance to go to NACTO conference in Miami. That set it apart for me because I was like, that's when I got to see intricate parts of how cities run differently throughout the United States. Like you got some cities that the traffic, there might not be accidents. And you're like, how can this happen? How? That's a good thing, right?
Right.
There's nothing. There was one city that said they didn't have an accident or something the whole year or something like that, which
Dang.
was like incredible. One city, I think it was in the United States that was like, it might have more, but I know that they asked me for this one specific city that was like that. And then I got a chance to meet some more exciting people and kind of like throughout the day. And I got a chance to Miami though, right? Miami. So,
Right.
it was like to the beach,
Yeah.
right? So then I think I had my, so I come to work one day, and it's March of 2024, because I called myself trying to play basketball then, right? And that was like my way of trying to get in shape, right? But when I rained on the court today, I went, right now I'm going to wait it out.
Yeah.
And then I called, right?
God damn.
I said, man, I'm going to be honest. If you keep eating like that, you're going to kill yourself. Because you got a sciatic nerve issue, and on top of that, he didn't say I had a hip problem. I don't think he didn't do a straight up hip x-ray, but he could see that there was some back. And when I was sitting down or if I was standing up, it would hurt really bad. So I couldn't. Sometimes I could walk to the bathroom, but it was embarrassing. Right? So I would eat, and a lot of it was trying to soothe the things I was dealing with emotionally, and my eating habits got worse than the other habits that they were aligned up, right?
Yeah.
So you should call it it's telework and FMLA. And at first I didn't really like it because I felt like I was separated, right? And I couldn't really. So the goal was for me. He would say, "You need to start going to the gym and really trying to get the weight off." But I had already been going, and I wasn't losing no weight. And it was getting frustrating because the more I was going and I losing weight, the more pain and the more weight I was gaining. Because I would go to work in the morning, right? I'd have a steak and cheese bagel meal with an iced coffee. I get to work in the morning, and the first thing I get there, after I ate all that and got to work, I have like 2 Snickers, back to back. Lunchtime I go with Steve to get pot bellies. I get the red sandwich, chips, and another Cocoa Pepsi. Then after I leave work, I'm back. I'm going to shops, getting 2 po' boy subs, 2 cupcakes, cookies, and 2 liters of Pepsi. That was like a day for me.
You could eat all this shit?
Every day. And people said they love me. None of them said, Joe, don't you want to take a look in the mirror at that? None of them said that.
How big did you get, though?
365 pounds.
Yeah, how tall are you, though?
My doctor, when I was in there, said that he thought it was a joke. But I don't think he thought it was a joke because he gave me he gave me a prescription for phentermine and tobramate, and they call it Qsemium. Call it Qsemium. And when I was in the gym that first week, I had already been going. I said, I'm going to get serious, right? I lost 10 pounds. I thought I had done something, right?
Mm-hmm.
I gained all that 10 pounds back down my game. That's how I got to 65, right? But this is what happened. In the gym one day, I said, I ain't doing this shit anymore. I'm even going to go to work. I'm going to try to figure out a file for this. But that's what I said, right?
Yeah.
I said, this is that career's come on. Maybe I'm not that guy no more. And I was driving out the parking lot, and someone said, that dude over there. So I said, I be messing with me because I can't even finish a workout. I'm telling you, that was the...
How tall were you?
Let me go in there, and he in there, and he look at me, he see me with the door, he said, I guess that can't even kneecap now, right? And I said, okay. Come back tomorrow. So you sure? Come back tomorrow. So I come back tomorrow, 4 o'clock. I got off, so I said, okay, I'll come back. And I think I did that for like a week and a half, and I said to myself, I guess I'm not losing.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he come in there, I'm going to give him the money. Just so happened the same day I'm
coming in with a big ass box of chicken. He said, look at me, that's for you. I said, for me? Just get through the workout, I'm going to talk to you. Get through the workout, he said, here go the meal plan, and here goes this is for what? Just take the chicken, Joseph. I said, for what? Just take the chicken, Joseph. I said, okay. And in my mind, I'm trying to figure out when I'm going to do the chicken. I take the chicken home, I take the meal plan home, I come back next day, like he said. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, this won't last long. And so what happened was, I think got through that week, he said, can I ask a question? What was that? I said, you haven't lost any weight. So what's your name? You ain't lost no goddamn weight. And you're not doing what I asked you to do with the meal plan. Why you just can't cook the food yourself? You don't need nobody to help you cook. I said, well, he right. See, I guess you can be like that. He walked off in the gym. And I was like, huh? I go home. So I'll try breakfast. I wound up losing like 3 pounds. After 3.5 pounds, impressed, but I lost something. I gained it back because my lunch and dinner was trash.
Yeah.
Got through the next week, I said, let me try lunch, man. I'll do breakfast and lunch and see what happens. I lost 6 pounds, gained 3 back because dinner was trash.
Yeah.
But then I thought about it, right? I said, now, if I can lose 6 pounds with breakfast and lunch, if I add dinner, and then I took a real deep look at myself in the mirror and said, can I do this? What is it I have to do that's different? That's really different, that'll set me apart, that'll take me to that, right? And I myself, I said, you know what? I've never seen myself look like I did when I was younger. And I've been dreading the fact that I can't even take a shirt off, right? And I feel humiliated and defeated when I try to do certain things that I know in my mind's telling me I could do it, still do it, but my body is saying no. And when am I going to outlive these thoughts about I can't? I said, let me try it today. And so I went back to the lab. I said, I'm going to do dinner now. So I did dinner. Once dinner was probably like around June, July, went from 6 pounds to 10, 15, then sometimes 18 pounds. Then I looked up, man, it was October, and I was at roughly like 280, 290, since I was probably like in my 20s.
Damn.
Then I'm like, hold up. I said, hold up. October, February, I was 265.
Damn.
I said, I got 30 more pounds. Joseph, you have 30 more fucking pounds, and you can go up on that wall. So he said, he basically laughed at me, right? He laughed at me and said, you ain't going on that wall, boy. I said, why I can't go up on the wall? He said, because, I said, who? He said, motherfucker couldn't work. But I had to think about it, right? There was a guy named Joseph, and then on Friday night, he turned into a straight pine. Those 2 different characters. You got those pine, and then you got pine. He's a totally different monster, man. He comes, it's like he come to life, man. I got them 30. Guess who up on that wall? Me. Hope. You can't stop man with hope.
So, man, when you had all that weight, man, how tall are you, by the way? Okay, so you can carry a little weight.
It was all, man, that's all.
You know, what do you think allowed you to get to that weight? You have problems, and you just, tell me what?
I believe in myself. Yeah, you get to a point where life outweighs what's going on. Man. You feed into society, they're saying, okay, you gotta have this car, you got a certain kind of wife, you gotta have this, you gotta have that, and you gotta fit the standard, right? And I wasn't fitting the standard, right? And what society will also tell you is, you won't get these things.
What, like cars and shit like that?
It'll write you off. Society will write you off and basically say that you're a piece of shit. And that if you don't have, these things bring you success, and we know that don't bring you no success, man. Having love in your heart, peace in your heart, and being able to help others, really, is the only way that you can come to that success. For me, I think that's what, you're going to make things along the way, but I was in a dark place, and I couldn't really, every time I try to express those things, you know, their own way of saying, you got to man up. You got to be this way. You're weak. But they didn't see that it was strength. I had that inside of me. I totally forgot. And instead of humiliating me, right, they feel more like, Joseph, you're hurting us. We don't want to see that. So let's just do it this way. Okay? Can we people? I didn't get none of that shit. Les, unfortunately, was actually circumvented a brother and sister. He actually kind of didn't, I think, was fillable anymore because my gone. It was really gone. When I saw it on the mirror, this was not reflective of what I see today at all. Oh, I don't even try. I don't have to try no more to look happy. I really am happy though. Some more than I was then. I'm not even gonna say I'm so exuberant. Life got me on the fucking reading rainbow bus. But what I will say is it's a lot better than it was. Right? Even though I still got struggles, it's a whole hell of a lot better. And a lot of it's got to do with the fact that I can go upstairs and not breathe heavily. And I do self confidence, man, that I ain't had in years. I'm 45. They say I look about 30. Don't tell nobody, man. You don't even know me. They say, like, anyway, I could be lying. So, I don't know. Well, I'm going to say we're going to stick with I'm 36.
My man.
But anyway, no. The toughest battle by myself. Because that's the thing that I did outside of getting my college education at an old age that I had to really put the work in. And you know what? I got family that thought I was doing that shit to look now. I didn't think I looked good. Yeah. I thought I looked out the fat ass silverback Humana freezer. And what happened? Listen, what happened in the process? Right? I looked up in the mirror. I was like, oh God, it's ain't that. Man, I started putting my shirt on. I said, God damn, I got 11% body fat, 10% body fat. I saw a 6-pack. I saw my jawline get sharp. So I didn't look like that in 20-something years. And I wear 36 pants. Last time I wore 36 pants, I might have been in the 9th grade.
Damn.
Do you know how that was? My shit really was, it was working then, don't get me wrong. But it was really working. And I started to feel like a human being again. And I don't think I was so brass or nothing like that. I was just happy, man. I still love my wife the same intensity. I think I love her more for real.
Oh, you were married through all of this?
Yeah, why not?
I was just asking.
I mean, yeah. I wanted her to participate and be happy too. Like I pushed her to go back to college. I wanted her to finish college because I thought that was necessary. Let me tell you something. When a person has a dream and you had a dream, you won't want them to achieve their dreams and their goals. Because when you look back, you don't want to be with them looking back and you're the only one accomplishing.
Yeah. You
want to lack, and you and your whoever she is or he is, they can be like, you know what? We did it together. We might have not done it on the same accord, but we got what we wanted to get. And I wanted her to get that. Because she kept saying, see, when I went to do this stuff, I just did it. Because my dad said, you got to start finishing stuff. And but when her whole process was always, I can't do this. No one told me. I can't. And I was saying to myself, hold on. If you can go and do this and that, you can certainly get back into school. And she made up all these excuses. So I said, you're going to get online and file for the financial aid in front of me. So she did that. We talked to the advisor. She got a start date, which the school paid for by her financial aid. And she was worried about the wrong thing. And this, you need to get on your dream. Because you're not going to see it. I'm going to tell you about me. I don't like scapegoats. I don't want you to sit up there. I don't want to sit up there and say, oh, my mama the reason why I didn't do. Listen, Joe is the fucked up reason why for 20, I partied, bro. I got it in and still get in there. So guess what? At that particular time, I saw his wife with them. I'm not religious, and I don't get it once you get it. But I seen, you know how you do things from the outside. I seen them working together, and I seen her help him. I seen him, and I seen it right. And so I was like, but I seen it from my parents. My dad would have made it to do that. But it seemed like she was worrying about my weight.
Wait a minute, she was telling you to eat more?
And she would say, man, I was getting too small, you getting too skinny. And I didn't want to see you hating or nothing like that because I didn't want her to feel like I never thought I was better.
You never thought what?
I never thought she was better than me. My wife came into my life. I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to say it like this. When I met her, I was in early recovery. And I felt I was going out by myself, taking myself out. I would go to there's this place, Ruby Tuesday. I love that place, man, because they had the bar. and they had these booths I could go and sit in. I was big there anyway. So I could take up the whole booth, and I was happy with just being there with me. And I would leave there, go to Wheaton movies, and that was my day of treating me, right? So my brother and a friend of mine that was in the front, they was
Like Tinder. I was like Tinder.
Because I was like I had a lot of cool people, and we would just go out and talk about things, and we didn't have, I had to get that deeply connected with anyone right now. I was just trying to learn who I was, right? And I was loving that because it was the first time that I could really enjoy me. But they kept going. I said, well, let me give it a try. So I didn't know that I had sent her a message maybe a year prior, and she just didn't respond to it for whatever reason. But I hit on this on well, and she responded, right? Upon her responding, we wound meeting. And I got to the first maybe month. I'll give it to the month. She was amazing because that was the first time somebody listened to me and gave me some realistic feedback. I mean, you know, as men are, if you listen to us and you show that you actually give a damn, we might start taking interest in you to the point where we gonna give a damn about you. And I had never had that before. I had no woman talking about, let me hear what you have to say for you. I was like, what the fuck? No way. No, she said she went to church. Definitely couldn't believe that. She started saying she went to church.
Oh, she went to church?
She came from a church. Man, she said she came from a church, family church. I almost lost it. I said, it was almost like a gift. And I said, you got to be kidding me. And it was almost like everything I had prayed for. It was like somebody was on top of me, and they saw, and it was like, okay, come on, I got him. Bruh, it was the best month. Like as far as everything, it was a type of intimacy that I felt for the first time I could release myself to somebody and not be jealous. I think that was the last time, first and last time, man, in my life that I met anybody. That right there made me want to be with somebody again. And I had that feeling prior after that. But during that time, that stretch, it was incredible, man. Because I was releasing stuff that was really hurting me. And I started to see happiness. I started to feel happiness within me of what the decision I made. Not necessarily her, but the decision to even talk to a person on the phone. Yeah. I had been in a relationship, marriage prior, and I shouldn't even got married to the lady because it was kind of awkward because she had 4 kids by her husband. Well, no, 3 of them was from her first husband, and the other one was from a guy she met. And so she had 4. The one when I met the little one was mine, and I had to learn. I learned how to change the little boy, and I went through this whole thing, right? And sometimes I would fuck up. So I had to drop him off the daycare. I didn't know he shitted on himself, cause them diapers can hide, man. And you got to change them. And that one particular day, I didn't smell nothing, and I was late. And I was rushing to get him in there, and he had shit on himself. It was crazy, man. It was a crazy day. And the guy there, and the lady called her, and she went off of me. You have my son. They feel like he's wrong there. Then it's y'all son when they need something.
Yeah.
And so, and I was, I wasn't ready for it because the woman had children.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm married, man. I was fat. And read somebody it said, take advantage of this dude now. He is proud.
Yeah.
And so by the time I got to even I think about it, from 2010, I was 12, I was separation. Because it should have been divorced earlier. Because I acted out with impulse and I put my hands on it. I seen what I saw, but I shouldn't have done it. But I didn't have control, and I was dealing with that by myself. And family that they say they love you, but they get together on your ass, and they'll that's it against you, and they'll make fun of you.
Yeah,
they'll get the mud on you, but them you can't to them because they're them. But that was okay because I was in a safe space, right? But I was damaging myself in this because I didn't know how to. I didn't have nobody to go to, and when I went to the therapist, I didn't know how to express it to them. And so as time went on, it was hard, man. I got through that. But I had the intentions. I said, I'm doing this shit no more. But I'm still gaining weight. And I'm unhealthy now. But I mean, my life fucked up. I think it's bad now. It was way worse. It was way, first of all, everything for my health was bad. I was bad. And my attitude was way worse. So when in my height of my using, I was in this house.
I'm good, you?
Yeah, were you calling about a room for rent?
Is it a room or is it a house?
Right now we have really a rooms and a basement apartment.
Where's the basement at? Where's it located?
Northwest DC.
Northwest, okay. I like Northwest. Is it okay? And it's a visible basement? I mean, I could get to it. It's not like, or is it a back entrance?
You can enter through the front and then go downstairs and you'll be right there.
Oh, okay. Let me tell my wife, she don't like basements because she has asthma. She's very sensitive. Yeah.
Right. Oh, there's two of you.
So, yeah.
Where you currently living?
I'm currently living over on Dupont Circle.
Oh, nice over there. Yeah.
And, it's beautiful, but the parking and the rats are ridiculous again.
Oh, in Dupont? Yeah.
Yeah. So, alrighty. What else you got? You got rooms for rent?
Yeah, just room. If it's two of y'all, the basement. Yeah. There's a private bath in the kitchen, so that'd be perfect for you.
Yeah. And how much is the rent on that?
$1,400, all utilities included, and it's furnished. It already has.
Wow.
You know.
Wow, that's nice. It's a nice place. We're paying $25 now. Wow.
Damn, you paid $2,500 for what? A one bedroom or studio?
It's one bedroom. It's a big one bedroom. Yeah, it's huge.
DuPont's expensive.
Yeah.
DuPont's very expensive.